Hello, Olua Folakemi. How are you doing? Can you please let me know if you can hear me? The video is off. Please. Can everyone give me 1 minute? It seems I have to restart this meeting. So I'll be back in like a minute. So I'm going to assign Sarah as the host while I'm gone. Sarah, can you please make me the host when I get back in? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. Hi, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon. How are you guys?
I'm good. How about you?
Okay, I think Binjo is back now, so you take over.
I'm back now.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to get started at 4, just waiting for more people to join us. I want to test sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen. And if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can see and I can hear.
So I think my video is also on now. Just trying to confirm that everything is working fine. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Toby, Olakemi, and Olamide. Thank you, Sultan. Just trying to make sure everyone is in. Then we'll start 4:01. Okay, so I think we can just get started. Okay, so I'll start with a brief intro about myself, and then we'll get into what growth marketing is. Maybe talk about what it is not, talk about examples of growth marketing, activities in Nigeria and globally, talk about skills you need to be a good marketer. And then we will dive into the question and answer segment because there's actually a lot of questions. And I would rather take those questions, because I directly tied to this session and talk too much. Okay, so let's get started. So my name is Olabinjo. If you're just joining us now, we already started talking a while ago. So my name is Olabinjo Adeniro. I started my career in technology around 2012, 2013. I had initially wanted to be a programmer, so I basically went and started finding people like me who were interested in technology, my friends and my family members, and then stumbled into a community of people like me called CC Hub, Co-Creation Hub, which is an incubator and accelerator for social impact technology companies in Nigeria. So it was there that I really, got to see what people were building in Nigeria and across Africa, and I started to work with some of them to help in their marketing strategy, communications, social media, digital marketing, all of that stuff. So in the last couple of years, I have done some work. Please mute yourself when you join. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sultan. So my career started off working at CCO, but I would say it really kicked off when I had an internship at Hotels.ng, because it was there for the first time where I really had to step up step up my marketing skills because I was the first person on the marketing team there. It was a very small company at the time. It was one of the very first Nigerian startups that was in the travel e-commerce space. And over time, I started there as a social media intern and went up all the way to lead the paid advertising channels team. And then after that, I went to a company called OMG Digital, which was trying to build a BuzzFeed for Africa kind of product called OMG Voice, which is basically the most popular thing today that looks like it's Coco. Yeah, pretty much launched around the same time as Coco as well. And then did some work at a company called Dev Center, which was trying to build a massive community of software development talent in Africa. So at Dev Center, I was responsible for comms, PR, content, email marketing, as well as some community efforts. Then after Dev Center, I don't remember where I went next. Okay, while I was at Dev Center, I talked to these guys called Chimi, Ire, and Eke and Tomiwa, who were trying to build a crypto exchange. This was, I think, mid-2017. They were trying to build a platform where Nigerians could buy Bitcoin because it was a very difficult thing to do at the time. And all of the platforms that you could buy Bitcoin on were either not available in Nigeria or they needed you to buy P2P. So you need to find somebody on the site who's selling Bitcoin, and then you say, "Oh, I want to buy 5,000 worth of Bitcoin at this price you've listed," and then basically just hope for the best that you send your money. So they were trying to build a platform where you could just go, which I bet a lot of you use it now, and just go and put in 5,000 with your card and just buy what you need to buy. And then after that, I consulted for a company called Carrywise, which is a savings and investment platform for millennials. There, I was responsible for SEO, basically revamping all of the content they already had to be optimized for search engines. So I'm talking website and the entire blog, as well as building a structure for SEO going forward, because I was going to leave the team after 3 months. After Carrywise, I got asked by some guy called Inya Boyeji to come start a new company called Future Africa. Future Africa started out as basically just a content website for people to go and read about what was happening in technology space in Africa. We especially wanted people who did not understand what was going on, people outside of the ecosystem, so to speak, to come join and read and also share ideas within that community. It's been pretty successful so far, but now we have kind of expanded our mission to help more people who want to invest in African startups. So what we do now, our primary product is we help people who want to invest in African startups find startups. We present them 20 startups a year in exchange for an annual fee of $20 and some legal fees as well. So an annual fee of $1,000. I said 20. An annual fee of $1,000, and then some other fees. It's been pretty great since we launched in June. We launched this in June 2020, and now we have about 184 people who are subscribers to the products. We're trying to get the numbers up to 1,000 this year, and I lead efforts on that team. Also, while I started Future Africa, I consulted for this company called Bundle, which is basically another crypto exchange. But Bundle was trying to build some social twist into crypto at the time I worked there. I was responsible for building the initial community of users, which was 100 people, and then turning them into a massive wait list of 10,000 people. So a lot of my early work at Bundle was user experience writing within the product, community building, talking to our very early stage users and getting feedback and working on feedback from them, but then growing that list all the way to 10,000 people who wanted to use the product. So you can see that my experience really cuts across multiple different aspects of marketing. So I've done content, I've done PR, I've done a lot of comms, done a lot of work with building communities, done a lot of work with paid advertising on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, but as well as Google Display and other smaller platforms as well. Also a lot of search engine optimization as well. So I think everyone that wants to join has joined now. Let's get on with the slides. So what is growth marketing? I'm in a growth marketing group, and this came up, I think, last week, Friday. This is one of the reasons I wanted to actually talk about this topic with more people. And it seems that there's a lot of confusion between what growth marketing is, what product marketing is, what growth hacker is, what growth management is. And all of those things seem to be modeled. But the truth of the matter is that growth marketing is marketing. It's not, the concepts, although they are different, are very similar to any marketing concepts you already know. So if you've done, if you're familiar with the 3 P's of marketing or the 5 P's of marketing, or you're a content marketer, or you're a social media marketer, or you do email marketing, or you do product marketing, or you manage ads, you're pretty much on your way to understanding what growth marketing is all about. All of these things serve as pillars that kind of help to, push companies towards customer acquisition and then retention, right? So I like this image. Again, can everyone see my screen? Please leave a comment if you can see my screen. All right. So in marketing, we talk what marketing is focused on 2 things, really. If you were a chief marketing officer at, I don't know, say P&G or Cadbury or Nestle, you're responsible for 2 things. You'll be responsible for awareness, creating awareness about the products in many different ways and using many different channels, and then acquisition. So people who have heard about this product, they are all my awareness and all of this noise I have made. But then, where do they go to buy? How do I make sure that they buy this product? And everything kind of ends there. But with growth, you're thinking through the entire funnel. So you're not just thinking awareness and acquisition now, you're thinking activation, you're thinking retention, you're thinking revenue, and you're thinking referral. And it's very important to get these 6 ideas in your mind because they all tie in together, right? If you're trying to grow numbers for a company, and we'll still get to why we need to do all of this anyways. So I like this quote from Andrew Chen. Andrew Chen used to be the VP of growth at Uber. I'm just going to read out exactly what he says because I don't think there's any need to say what somebody has said again. So he says the new job title of growth hacker, in this case, or growth marketer, is integrating itself into Silicon Valley's culture, emphasizing that coding and technical chops are now an essential part of being a great marketer. Growth hackers are a hybrid of marketer and coder, one who looks at the traditional question of how do I get customers for my products and answers with A/B tests, landing pages, viral factor, email deliverability, and open graph. On top of these, they layer the discipline of direct marketing, like I said, with its emphasis on quantitative measurement, scenario modeling via spreadsheets, and a lot of database queries. Right. So how do all these things differ, right? Again, we'll go back to that funnel list and we'll just break it down one after the other. So okay, I can see people leaving chats. All right, so like everyone can hear me. Great. So it's a very similar concept, right? Depending on the context and the time. One of the things we're seeing in the African technology ecosystem, so to speak, is that we have now reached a point where companies realize they need to grow very fast, or they need to just take advantage of markets that they are not taking advantage of, right? So all of the things you already know about marketing, again, apply here. Whether you have worked for a small business before or not, what you already know already applies, right? But then growth marketing is different because now you're doing more things on that layer. So you're testing and measuring multiple different channels to find product market fit. So if I'm selling, I don't know, if I'm the growth marketer at PiggyVest, for example, I'm trying ads, I'm trying influencers, I'm trying email marketing, I'm trying content, I'm trying SEO, I'm trying to find groups of people in maybe different campuses across Nigeria. I'm trying an ambassador program. I'm trying referrals. I'm trying all of these things to see which of them is going to stick and which of them is going to be the most efficient and effective method to grow my customer base. So growth marketers are typically unafraid to try new and unproven channels, which means there's a new channel. I think my audience is there. Nobody has used it to sell these products before. I'm going to build a profile there and build an audience, and I'm going to be the person that tests this channel out to see how I can use it, to grow the business. I think a typical example of this was when Twitter was very, very new and just growing in Nigeria. A lot of the people that joined Twitter in the very early stages, a lot of them became marketers immediately because they were able to grow an audience there in a platform that people hadn't used before to grow an audience, right, and sell products. The fourth is tracking. So growth marketers must be very good at numbers, must be able to directly tie their campaigns to the company's goals. So if I have done something on Twitter and I got 200 arches, how does that match with the company's goals at the moment, right? They're thinking about turning customers into super fans. So I have 100 customers. How do I make those customers my advocates? How do I make it easy for my customers to talk to more people about my products? How do I make it easy for them to invite people to use my product? I think there's something wrong with people trying to join in. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm seeing a lot of people try to join over and over again. I'm wondering what's wrong. Okay, looks fine now. So they're turning customers into product fans, right? And they're also thinking about product distribution. So all of the channels that I mentioned earlier are channels that you would think of as distribution platforms. So SEO is one distribution platform. Depending on the product you're building, it could be a very massive distribution channel, or it could be something very small, right? Again, all of these things are very contextual, depending on what you're selling or what you're trying to sell. Another thing is creating fear of missing out or the demand for products. So I built something, I built Hey.com, right? And Hey.com is basically a premium email service for people who don't want to be tracked by Gmail or whatever other mail service. So how do I make it exciting to join, but how do I also make sure that people feel like they're missing out on something and the product is aspirational, right? Which is where a lot of the email services use to grow their customer base. Not thinking about digital only, so they're also thinking beyond digital. Digital is great, but if you're in a country like Nigeria, you want to also think beyond digital. You want to think of communities of people that are offline, that maybe use the internet, but you can only reach them if you maybe go and talk to them in their estate or host a webinar for their estate only, or support their communities. One of the things we used to do very early at Dev Center was we would basically buy lunch for communities of programmers. So somebody was doing maybe a Figma meetup or a React.js meetup, we would fund it and we would buy them lunch. It was a very interesting thing for us because we saw immediately that our social media engagement was absolutely crazy and people signed up to our community. And one interesting one, which most people don't do, is a lot of people use the products before they sign up. So everyone uses Zoom here. I suppose you have the app on your phone. But one of the very interesting things in Zoom is that you can use Zoom without signing up. You don't have to, give you your email address. You don't have to do anything. My parents use Zoom and they don't have a Zoom account. I'm probably one of the very people I know that actually have Zoom accounts. Most people don't have Zoom accounts. So how can I allow people to test this thing and use it before they even sign up? What can that process be like? So why do companies need to grow? I think Zoom has maxed out. Okay, come on, please give me 1 second to fix this. I think Zoom has maxed out. I think that's why a lot of people are getting bounced off. So I'm just going to check my Zoom now. This is working. Okay, I guess we just share the recording with them. So why the companies need to grow? Sorry, my bad. I think I've missed a slide. Let's go back. Yes. So companies need to grow because technology offers unique distribution opportunities. I think that now it's obviously much more easier to grow an audience on the internet than it was maybe 20 years ago. You have a lot of platforms that already have people that are there. I mean, you have Facebook, which has, I think, 2 billion people on Facebook and 1 billion people on Instagram. So people are already on these platforms doing multiple different things. You have, I think, 2 billion users on Google. They are searching for multiple different products. So technology allows us to reach people who want to use our services and products. So basically, why not? Why not grow, right? When you have all of these assistants and all of the data you need is already there. Second thing is startups offer products and services to underserved audiences and communities. And this is typically called non-consumption. So if you're very familiar with, if you've used the internet in Nigeria for a while, about 10 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, if you were building an app, it was very, very difficult to collect payments or even just a website. You would have to go to this company called InterSwitch or eTransact, pay a massive sign-up fee. You would pay a massive sign-up fee. I think it was, 150, 200K, I can't remember what it was, but you pay that fee, and then you will still pay a transaction fee on top of each transaction. And then you will still pay an annual fee just so that people can use their card on your app. That's absolutely crazy. And then people came in, paid like a Flutterwave and built these new products where you just had to, it was very easy to integrate. You didn't have to pay anybody. You didn't have to talk to anybody if there were no problems. And in like a few minutes, you could just integrate Paystack's API into your app and begin to receive money from your customers, right? So that's another reason why companies need to grow, because they're doing something that people need, and they have new ideas and new products that need to be sold. The first one is competition. So sometimes what happens is you build something that is absolutely novel and is so great, and then everybody's like, oh, this is so cool, we're going to build it as well. So now you're in an arms race because you don't want to die, and you need to grow your business faster than they do, so that they don't acquire all your customers. So I'm just going to go down through that funnel I showed earlier and just break some things down here. So growth marketing is focused on, we agreed, awareness, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referrals. Now, all of these different points in the funnel, it's up to you to decide how you want to measure it. But I will give an example of how you can measure what you're doing at each point of the funnel. So awareness is getting people to know about the product or service. One example of how you can measure this will be PR mentions. So how many blogs in your industry are talking about your product? Another way you can measure this is social media followers. How many people are following your Twitter handles or Instagram handles, right? So that's measuring awareness. Acquisition is getting people to sign up or request for your product or service. So how many people come to the site and sign up? How many people buy the service that is being sold? And if you're running something that people have to, fill a form to request, maybe you're a teacher or you're a coach or something. How many people fill in that form to request for your service, right? So activation. At what point of usage do I call this person a customer? So I've already acquired this person, right? They're in my email or they follow me, whatever metric I decide to measure. At what point do I say this person is a customer? Out of all these people that I've acquired, how do I measure a customer? So a customer can be somebody that logs in monthly, or somebody that spends 5,000 naira in the app monthly, or somebody that sends money to somebody else every day. That can be what you decide to call a customer, right? And then retention is, acquiring new audiences and getting your existing audiences to take advantage of new products or new features. So here the measure again is who's taking what activity that you have just launched. So if I have launched maybe something that all the Nigerian apps now is this hidden balance feature. If I've launched this hidden balance feature, how do I get the people who use my app to know about it? How do I get them to use it? If I've launched maybe loans in my banking app, how do I get people to use those loans often? Another interesting thing about retention is now you have your customer rates. How do I get people to use this product all the time? So one simple way that's very interesting is automation, right? So if you haven't noticed, almost all of the savings and investment apps in Nigeria now have this thing where you can charge your card or your account daily or monthly or weekly. That's a very simple way to improve retention. Getting somebody to use the product without having to, open the product, without having to interact with the product. I think people are still getting bounced, and Zoom is not letting me upgrade this thing. Okay, we'll just share the link with them. Revenue, yes. So how do you get users of a product to spend more? By improving utility. So I have this product that does one thing. So maybe I have Zoom and it does calls. It just does calls. I can call my friend, I can call my colleagues, that's all it does. What do I need to do to make it more useful so that person can now use it to maybe host a webinar or host a live podcast or something like we're doing now, or host a maybe friends party game night in a pandemic like we're in, right? So that's increasing revenue. Then referral, how do I get customers to talk about this product? Or how do I get them to use this product with more people easily? So something that again Zoom does really well is just lets you create a very simple link that you can share with anyone and they can join a call. That improves the utility by far. Another thing a lot of people do is they have these referral campaigns where if I invite one person, I get maybe a discount, or I get 1,000 naira or 200 naira or 500 naira. That also encourages people to talk about this product. Another interesting thing here is how do I build products such that they're used by a person in an organization, but then that person can also invite their team members. So if you've ever used a task management tool like Asana or Basecamp or Trello, you would see that they quickly encourage you to invite your colleagues, so that then the utility again expands beyond just one manager in the organization, and now they have the manager's entire team, which means they're more likely to pay for it when the free version maxes out, right? So what are the things that growth can be? So growth can be a lot of things. Again, depending on what product you're trying to sell, it can be a referral system or a leaderboard or a wait list. It can be viral content, like if you're at BuzzFeed or Zikoko. It can be SEO if the product, if the customer journey starts at search engines. Like if you're doing a travel product or you're in a travel business, one of the places that people start to think about travel from is SEO. So, maybe I'm going to the Maldives next month, or I want to go to the Maldives in 3 months' time. I would search for interesting places to go in the Maldives, right? So PR is one of them. How do I get people, the technology blogs, for example, if you work technology, or the business blogs, or the fashion blogs, or the fashion influencers, how do I get them to talk about my new products, right? So maybe I've launched one new thing that if you drop it in soap, all the clothes get clean instantly, right? Who are the people that I can get to talk about these things so that I can create awareness? Growth can be building new product features. So it can be you realizing that your customers are asking for something in particular, and you don't provide it yet. How do you build that product feature? It can be sales team. So how do you build a sales team that is basically tasked with finding out who your target customer is and converting those customers, to become users for you, right? It can be building APIs. And one of these, a company that's done this very, very well, I think, is Facebook and Google as well. So if you go to a lot of sites or apps, you would see this login via Facebook button or login via Google button. What is basically done is basically help them extend their login functionality so that if I'm a developer and I have a site, I don't have to worry too much about security. But again, for Facebook, what it does is they now have more data about the user. So they know that, oh, this person likes to use educational apps. This person likes to use travel apps. This person likes to use health apps. This person plays games a lot. So that's another way of thinking about growth. Leveraging existing platform APIs. So I've built Paystack, which allows people accept money online. How do I make sure that people who use WordPress or Shopify or Squarespace or Wix or Seller or Gumroad, all of these tools can use, how do I make sure that they can use Paystack to collect money from their customers, right? That's again leveraging existing platform APIs. It can be onboarding flows. So it can be, there's a process that exists for somebody to be a user of my product. How do I make it easier for them to sign up and start to use the product? Or how do I educate them to use the product such that it provides more value to them? It can be email marketing. It can be, how do I get people to sign up for this mailing list? What do I need to do? Who needs to write this newsletter for people to come and sign up to read what they're saying? It can be optimizing ad campaigns. So I'm running a campaign on Facebook or Google Display, and it's costing me $20 to bring in one user. How do I make it more efficient? And how do I make it cost me $5? How do I make it cost me $1? That's also growth. It can be partnerships. Who is in this industry that has a similar audience to the audience I want to target, or that is chasing similar goals like I am? How do I partner with them and kind of draw their own audience into my audience? Or how do I build something that they need to use and then make them my customer? It can be customer support and experience. So how am I making sure that when somebody comes to my platform or to my Instagram page, they can quickly find information that they need, they can quickly order, they can quickly pay for stuff without too much hassle, without too much back and forth? How do I make sure that experience is smooth for somebody who's, a customer? Something weird is happening to okay. So what are the skills that growth marketers need? The first is marketing skills. So specific platforms that are really great for you to know how to use, or tools, so to speak. It's really great if you know how to use SEO. So if you're writing content, how do I make this content easy for people to find on search engines? Pay-per-click is also another one. How do I manage ads on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google Ads? How do I, target people using those platforms? How do I curate interests, right, so to speak? Storytelling. How do I tell interesting stories so that they trigger someone's emotion? They feel delighted, or they feel sad, or they feel educated when they, consume my content. It can be branding and design. How do I make this appealing for people to consume? How do I make this look good, so to speak, look better than it is now? Content marketing. How do I create content that my audience is interested in? How do I help my audience become better at the thing they're trying to do? So if I'm running some maybe skincare e-commerce platform, how do I create content that helps my audience manage their skin issues better, and make them finer, so to speak? It can be email marketing. How am I sending emails to my customers or to my audience to make them customers, or to my existing customers to make them buy new products? Right? And then analytics and data. So one of the things you actually need to know is about analytics and data. So how do I measure all of these things I'm doing? how do I tie them back, to my goals? One of the quotes we read earlier talked about how a growth marketer needs to be able to make a lot of database queries. So how do I segment people who have tried to use my product? How do I talk to them to make sure that they come back to use my product? Or how do I encourage, say things that encourage them to come back, and use my stuff? So with data, you can see, and one of the really good things about technology is you can see all of these things. If I was running a Facebook ad, I can see maybe like 3 or 5 days that this campaign is not going to be successful. Maybe I intended to spend $200, but I've only spent $10. So it means that the product I'm selling is reaching the wrong audience. So because of that data, I can now take initiative and target a new audience. I can change the design and the copy and see what works. Again, because of all of the data we have available to us, we can easily know that, people are not reacting to the content that we are putting out. Maybe they're not liking it or they're not sharing it. People are not reading our emails. So what needs to change? Why is the email open rate low? Or why are they opening the email but they're not even clicking anything? Right. Some technical skills, which I don't think are necessary, but they're really good, because sometimes you want to quickly do things and you don't want to rely on your engineering team. You already have buy-in, you already have approval, but you don't want to waste too much time. So I like HTML and CSS have been particularly very useful to me. Whether I'm just writing a quick blog post, I can quickly do something in HTML to just help the reader, read better or find more better context, or just CSS helping me to change color of something like a button. They're not really complex stuff, so I think that most people should actually learn HTML and CSS. Design is helpful in a way, and you don't have to be like a user experience designer, but it helps for you to understand, what things need to happen in software design to get people to use stuff, and not just use it once, but to get people to use it as often as the company needs to reach its goals. The next is platform thinking. So I'm building this thing and it's nice, but how do I make it a platform? How do I distribute it via technology in a way that other people can build things on top of what I've already done? And the PayStack example comes here again. They have a public API, right? And people can build all kinds of stuff on top of it. Another interesting company also that has a very interesting API. Companies like MailChimp have APIs. Companies like Google Calendar have APIs. And then with these APIs, what they can do, if you're building a company, you build APIs so that people can create things, on top of your platform. What it does is it expands the utility of your platform. So if you had 100 users interacting with something daily, think about the fact that now you have 2,000 people, 2,000 people who have now, built stuff, and maybe now they all have like 1 million users each. And so my platform now reaches more people and has more impact, right? The last one is long-term thinking, which I think is really important. So it's very nice to see all of this hyper-growth stuff happen, but you also need to be able to think long-term in terms of how does this business change over time? What does this business look like in 5 years? If we're spending all this money on growth now, or we're doing all these growth things, how sustainable it is, financially, and even just its impact in society. What are people going to think about this in 3 years' time? How are people going to use these products, in the future? And that's something you need to think about. Okay, so now we're going to give some examples of how Nigerian and global companies have approached growth and the kind of things that they have done to grow. Okay, so Thingiverse, a while ago, I think this was 2018 or 2019, had this feature where you can basically send dollars to your friend. I think it's called, I don't know what it's called now. It's called something Flex. If anyone can help me, just drop the name in the chat. But basically, I can send dollars to my friend. And this came out of a meme, a Nigerian meme, which is basically people jokingly asking you to send them dollars. Like you talk to your friend, you're like, how fun now? Your friend's like, send me dollars. But now they built a feature where you can actually send dollars to your friend. Flex dollar. Thank you, Babola. I really like Paystack's growth a lot. So Paystack API integrations, they didn't just build a payment API. They built integrations to things that people already use to collect money online. So we talked about Shopify and Squarespace earlier. So they built, they integrated with all of these tools, so that it was much easier for people who had e-commerce websites or who were building apps. Maybe you're building an Android app. There's a Paystack Android SDK for it to integrate with your app, right? All of these things helped expand the platform. I like Harry Wise's end of year reports. I think the first time they did it was end of 2019. Basically, it was a quiz now? No, basically you would go to Harry Wise's website and generate the report, and they will tell you, oh, you're something cougar, or you're a fiery fox or something, and that helped you. You made sure that you talked about it on social media, right? Which again helped them extend their reach. And the people would come and want to sign up to see what their money report is like. DevCenter's community. So DevCenter built a community for Nigerian software development talent, designers and programmers to just interact and learn from each other. And they were able to turn this into a business because then they became the largest remote jobs platform for these folks. The Cocoa quizzes I really like. I think I want to share the screen. Just share. No, I'm not there yet. Okay. The Cocoa quizzes I really like because what it does is it gets you very excited or disappointed, and you're more willing to share the quiz when you have some emotion. So I really like how they've grown their audience using these quizzes. So that's something that's just shareable and great. Other growth hacks. Okay, so YouVersion Bible app. I like YouVersion Bible app. Actually, one of my favorite apps. They have a ton of very useful. If you've never used it before, even if you're not Christian, I think it might help to actually sign up and see what it's like. Because there's a lot of things that encourage people to, for example, use it daily. So there's a streak. There's a streak where if you read your Bible every day, you get like this streak. The streak increases, the number increases over time. And it's very annoying to break it. Also, there's no way to cheat to break it. So you have to actually open and read the Bible for the streak to keep going on. It's a very, very great app. It's one of the apps that people write about how useful it is. It also has other things. So you can invite your friends to join a reading plan with you. You can do so many other things with it. If you're a pastor, I think you can design a plan for your church members. It's all kinds of really, really different stuff. It's an absolutely great app. The email tools, Hotmail, Gmail, Superhuman, Hey.com, and Inbox. What they basically did was FOMO. And they basically created a wait list. And to join the wait list, you can join the wait list, but to get access to the app, your friend has to invite you, or you have to do something, maybe invite some other people to get access. What that does is it really increases the pool of people who want to use products like this. And it makes the products very popular very fast. See some chats. Yeah, Clubhouse. I've never used Clubhouse, but I like how Clubhouse has done FOMO as well. Very interesting stuff. Very exclusivity, very great platform. But I've just never used because I don't have an iPhone. But then again, it makes me want to use it, right? I mean, somebody in my office was saying maybe they're going to buy me an iPhone so that I can be using Clubhouse. So that's the kind of power that they have right now. I talked about Zoom and how they made it easy for people to join calls. Just click the link, you can join in your browser. If you don't have the app, you can still join. You don't have to create an account to use the product. WhatsApp was one of the very early companies that took advantage of something called the contact graph. So what would happen in the early days was or even now, you download WhatsApp and you can immediately start chatting with people that you already have their phone numbers. You don't have to send a request. You don't have to wait for them to confirm. You can just say, oh, hi, you're here, how are you? Many apps now do it because it's become more popular, so that people do a lot of P2P conversations or transactions with each other. Zapier, I like Zapier because what they've done is they've become the connector for multiple different tools across the internet. So maybe I have a newsletter in MailChimp and I have my form tool is Google Forms, or my website is Squarespace or something. I can connect these tools together with Zapier in the middle. And they're very, 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 very successful company in how they've been able to build these things. And every time there's a new tool, they're building new they're becoming the platform to integrate that tool very fast. BuzzFeed, yeah, I like BuzzFeed because what BuzzFeed did was help all of us, become happy or feel cute by looking at very interesting content. But what they really, really did was take advantage of social media use, especially Facebook, because people reacted quickly to those kind of captions that they created. I will show some of them in the coming slides. I like Vine because Vine and Instagram, pretty much the same tactic. We took advantage of what is called the social card. So if you posted a video on Vine and somebody shared it to Twitter, you could watch that video without leaving Twitter. On Instagram, what would happen was you could see the preview of the image, but then to see the full image, you had to click on the Instagram link to go and see the image, maybe to like the picture or to follow the person. They were very interesting ways, of using social media, and before all of these apps became popular. Okay, so let's look at Zapier here. Zapier basically allows all these things to integrate, right? So I can integrate Gmail with MailChimp. I can integrate Slack with Google Sheet. Maybe if somebody fills a form or somebody fills a Google Sheet, I can make sure the information shows up in my Slack channel or something. And they built about 84 pages of these integrations. And you can see how like each tool here has multiple different types of integrations, right? It's really, really great platform. I really love it so much. This is Carrywise Roundup. So you went and took got a report of your money and your finances in that calendar year, and you could then share it on social media. What I really like that they did was that when you looked at the preview link, you could see each person had a unique preview link. So if I'm a budding butterfly and you're a fiery fox, we do not have the same previews, even though it was literally going to the same website. How they implemented that was really, really stellar and absolutely great. So talk about email tools. This is when I requested to use Inbox a very long time ago. Inbox was this email app by Google. It's now been shut down, but it was so cool at the time. Many people just wanted to, request an invite. So I requested an invite, and this is, an email they sent me when I joined the waitlist. And this is the Coco quizzes. And you can see how, they're very fun quizzes. There's no frills. There's nothing too much to think about. Were you a science, arts, or commercial student? It's just for fun, right? And you get the Nigerian TV shows from their plots. When will you get your next race? Just something that makes people happy, and because they're happy about the result, they share it on social media or with their friends even. BuzzFeed as well, using numbers and very clicky headlines. And the great thing about how they've written stuff is how they're able to describe, how they're able to describe the article from the headline. So here are 27 storylines on TV shows that people could have done without. So I want to click that and know, what are these 27 things that happen on TV shows that I do not need? And then there's 28 products to help you clean your home. What are the things that I need to clean my home, right? Very interesting stuff. Okay. So how do you think about growth? If you're somebody who has never done growth before and you want to, you're asked to build some growth strategy, or you're in charge of writing growth strategy. The first thing is, who are my users? I try to define one user so I can know how to channel most of my marketing efforts. But you can have 5 groups of users, you can have 6 groups, you can have 10 groups. It really doesn't matter. But defining these users will help you answer all of the other questions, right? So who are my users? My user is Tunde, who's a 22-year-old in Unilag and is trying to pass his exam, right? Or my user is Choma, who's 35-year-old and has 2 kids, is married, and is trying to outsource chores in her home, right? So what are they trying to do, right? So at that point in their life, what are their goals? What's going to make life much easier for them, or what's going to make them more cool? That's also another thing that we'll talk about much. what's going to make them cool, right? In their in that point there. So where are they? And where are these two things? So in terms of physical locations, are they in universities? Are they people that work in banks? Are they, I don't know, Okada men all around Lagos, mostly at bus stops? Are they downfall drivers at the NURTW association spots? That's how to think of people. Where are they? But online, where are they? What communities do they belong to? What blogs do they read? Where do they consume content? What social media platforms do they use the most, right? So once you do that, you can then craft, strategy for how you're going to go and meet them, how you're going to create awareness within those groups of people. How do I make them enjoy using this product? So how do I make this product seamless? Not in terms of removing all of the friction, but how do I make them enjoy? How do I make them feel good about this? Do I write an exciting email when they come in? Does the CEO welcome them? Do we post a gift to them of every member of our team? Or what's the onboarding process like? Do we make it easy to sign up? How many processes do they have to go through? How much form do they have to fill to start to use this thing? How can I make them use it immediately without having to fill all of these forms? Those are questions to ask yourself. How do I get them to talk about this product easily? So they've used this thing that I've sold. Maybe I sell plantain chips, right? And I sold 10 boxes of plantain chips. How do I get the 10 people who ordered those boxes to talk about this product, right? What is the thing I'm doing differently in my product packaging or in my messaging that somebody that is eating this plantain chips wants to talk about it on social media? They want to rave about it. They want to post pictures. How do I make that happen? Or how do I, make that happen easily? Well, how do I make sure they can easily find my handle to tag my company, stuff like that? If I'm selling technology products, how do I make sure that when somebody has done something, they can tweet about it with their friends, or they can post a screenshot somewhere? How do I make all of these things, easy? How do I get them to use about this product with other people, right? So how do I get people to use this product as a group, with their family members, with their loved ones, with their colleagues? I like that Cowrywise and Piggyvest have this challenge thing going on where you can, you and your friend can save money together like a group, but it can also be a challenge of who's going to save a target amount, right, within a specific time. So that's thinking about how people can use products with other people. It does bring them. So maybe I've never used this app before, but my friend wants to challenge me to save. I'm not just going to save in that challenge. I'm also going to save, my own regular money and in the savings plan, right? I talked about software, work and productivity software earlier. How do I get people to invite their team members to use these products, right? How often should customers use these products? Do I want them to use it daily? Do I want them to use it monthly? Is it something that should just be used maybe once in 6 months or once in 3 months? What are the things I need to do to get the customer to use the products as often as I've defined, right? And then the last thing is, how do I measure and quantify all of the above? So if I've said who are my users, how many of them exist, right? Where can I find the demographic data to prove that Tunde Unilag, who passes the exam, there are 200 Tundes Unilag, or there are 20,000 Tundes all over Nigeria? How do I prove that? Where do I get those numbers? So I can know that, I got 10 out of 200 of these Tundes. I'm some way through. What are they trying to do? This is mostly, I would say, it's qualitative. So you talk to people and find out what their goals are, what they're trying to do, with regards to your product. Where are they is also demographic data. So, I said I want to do something for Nigerians, right? How many are these people that will use it in only Nigeria alone? Are they all around the world? Kind of helps me think about how to get them. How people are using this product, you can measure it using something called the Net Promoter Score. I don't like NPS, but there's ways you can ask people questions, to know how they feel about the product. You can just look at ratings on Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and see what people are saying about this product. How do I get them to talk about this? So all these people in my products, how often do they share their referral links? Or how do I nudge them to share their referral links if that's what I'm using, right? How do I get them to use products with other people? How many people have invited their friends? How many people have a How many people use this savings app and have a savings challenge? How many people are in group savings? If they're not doing that or the numbers are too poor, do I need to educate more people about this thing? Do I need to send more emails? Do I need to even change how the product works, right? How often should customers use this product? There are many tools that help you, figure this out. You have Google Analytics, you have Mixpanel, you have Hotjar, you have Segment, you have Amplitude, you have Firebase Analytics. All these things can help you, measure usage within time. If you're doing a small business or you're selling a physical product, then you have your own, you should have your own internal, maybe Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel sheets where you're seeing who's buying stuff the most. But again, if you're using tools like Shopify or Squarespace, you can actually see some of these things, right? So who are my best customers? Like, so how can I encourage more people to become my best customers? What can I do to my best customers that people become, sort of envious of them and want to be, that person? How do you get your organization to be growth-led or growth-focused? This is something that a lot of people struggle with. I also still struggle with it. I think that the one thing that really helps is communicating what your needs are, and not just that, but also communicating what the failure looks like. I feel like something that happens is we don't communicate failure enough. So when I say, oh, I need this thing for you, so that I need development teams to work on this thing so that I can get to 10,000 users. I need to let them know that if I don't get 10,000 users on time, the company is going to fail. And that's something that needs to happen. The second thing that needs to happen is you need to be able to converse with your team members across the organization, whether they're design, customer support, or engineering. It really helps to understand how they're thinking about things and what their mindset is like, so you can know how to communicate better with them. Something that's really helped me is understanding, because I have an IT background, a technical IT background, is understanding what people are talking about. When, like, if I join an engineering stand-up now, I wouldn't be lost, right? I would know what needs to be done. Even though I cannot do it, I would understand what they're talking about. And then when I'm talking to them about things I need, I can help them craft it in their language, right? So it really helps to read. You can just read books. Maybe you can even just read articles on Medium about design or about engineering or about customer support and customer success. All of those things are like residual knowledge that helps you walk around, your organization and talk to people. But mostly, if you're friends with people and you're offering them stuff that helps their work, right? You're talking to them about their work literally, and you're helping them become better at their work. They're more likely to be amicable with you and to listen to your ideas, right? And you might have to fight sometimes. Sometimes you might have to fight people. It is not what's it called? Different people have different ideas on what they should do at different times. And the truth of the matter is your organization could be the one that at the point they're focusing on the wrong things. So maybe while they should be fixing certain bugs in the user onboarding process, they're building an entire new version of the app. And so it's up to you to convince them that, look, building the new feature does not solve this problem. These problems are still going to exist, right? And then take the lead on that, on getting the team together to fix those problems. So that's the end of this presentation. Thank you, everyone. I think we still have some time. We have about 30 minutes, yes. So we're going to the Q&A section. A lot of questions people asked me, and I'm just going to open. I'm just going to open that question sheet now so that I can take all those questions. If you have any new questions for me, because the questions are a lot, I would advise that you just hold on to them for now, because there are actually a lot of questions, and want to see if it's possible to, what's the word now? To answer all of the questions or most of the questions, right? So just please bear with me. There are actually so many. Good. So okay, let me just get these questions. Okay, there. Okay, so the first question is, what's the best route to build a career in growth marketing if you have zero professional marketing experience? So something that really helped me is basically just doing stuff without permission. So it might really help for you to maybe say, create some content somewhere. Can be Twitter, can be Instagram, can be a newsletter, can be a blog. Because what then happens is you start to have to learn how to grow a blog. So something you might have to go and read is, how do I grow a blog to 10,000 users? And then you so many different things that you try out, and then you see that, oh, some things work, some things don't work. And then what you then do from there is now take that experience and start to apply it when you're working for companies, right? Something that also really helps is tying all that audience creation that you've done to selling something. It could be a PDF, it could be maybe some video, it could be a course, it could be a class, whatever it is, right? Just what do you know that people need to know, and then how do you, create an audience from that? Someone says, were you in doubt at some point in your career? The answer is yes. I'm in doubt from time to time, just like anybody else. And I'm wondering if I should still be doing this every other day. So yes. How do I start with marketing news? Any blogs to read? There's a link I'll share after this call to your email address. A couple of people that I like to read, I'll share that as well. This person says, why and how did you make the switch from IT programming to growth? So I would say when I was graduating from university, I realized that being a programmer wasn't aligning with my values anymore. It wasn't something I wanted to keep doing for many different reasons, but mostly because it was stressing me out. And I did not think that anybody needed to be that stressed to make money. So I was like, I'm not doing this again. But I was very lucky because I had been doing digital marketing.
No, I would shoot House of Assembly.
Can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Okay. So I had been doing like social media and digital marketing stuff for like 5 years before then. So it was very easy to switch. I was already working for a couple of people and decided not to do programming anymore. Then how did I get to growth? I basically kept taking more responsibility. So remember I said the first thing I did was I was a social media intern at hotels.ng. And in that company, in fact, in that year, I had done so much stuff. In like 6-7 months, I had done social media, I had done email marketing, I had done paid ads, I had done SEO, I had helped structure the blog and reaching content. I done so much stuff. So I basically just took responsibility. Oh, are you going to do market SEO? And say, do you want to do that? I said, okay, I'll do it. So it really helped me learn a lot because I was basically using other people's money to learn. But yeah, take more responsibility as you go upwards. So now I'm at Future Africa, I'm more responsible for stuff than when I was working as a digital marketing manager at OMG, 3-4 years ago, right? So people will ask you, do you want to do this for us? It's up to you to say yes and take that responsibility. And there's something that really helps me is I go and read every single thing I can find on that industry. So when I took on the role to do SEO at Cowrywise, I basically went and read every financial blog I could find, globally, but also Nigeria, because that helped me to see the gaps in their search strategy. But it also helped me see what other people were doing in similar climates and in similar industries, right? And the follow-up question is, what are some things you wish you knew at the start? I really don't know, honestly. I feel like everything you need to know, you will have to learn if you want to progress. So it'll be very clear by the time you start doing work of any kind. It becomes very clear that, oh, I don't know how to do this thing. Like there was 1 year where I realized I didn't really know what SEO was. I knew very little things, so I basically went and built my own blog and read a ton of SEO articles, and then implemented them, and I became better at SEO. So it really depends on where you see yourself, because you can't know everything. So you will find that there's something you don't know, and it's up to you to decide, what you want to learn. Something I've been asking my friends who are product managers, is the books, the books they read or the blogs they read to become, better product managers. That's something I'm interested in. I'm not just being a product manager right now, but something I don't know much about, in terms of being in charge of leadership and building a digital product. So that's something I want to read, right? So as you progress, you'll see lots of gaps in your knowledge. They will just come out anyways. You can't hide them. You can't pretend, at least to yourself. Someone said the best guide to becoming a better growth marketer. Okay, I'll share the link as well. But just to mention 3 things that really helped me. One is the Growth Handbook by this company called Intercom. The second is Traction. It's a very popular book, Traction. And the third is the Lean Startup. I like the Lean Startup a lot. Someone says, I've heard growth marketing is more of a growth mindset using digital marketing techniques. However, my current job is more editorial. How can I implement growth marketing tactics? So the question you need to ask yourself, since you're responsible for, I guess, maybe editorial content, maybe written or visual or audio, is how can I get people to share this content that they're reading easily? So the article is like 2,000 words long. Can I put some sharing links maybe after every 300 words so people can share it since they may not finish the entire article at once? How can I get them to subscribe to something, maybe a mailing list, or follow us on social media so they can get to see more of that content? Another thing we really did at Dev Center was how can we get people that we respect or that people respect in the industry to come and write for us? That's another way. That's a very unique way to approach, editorial content and growing your audience. Maybe you have a contributor program or something. Okay, so this person says, I currently work as the community manager of a cloud banking software company, and I seem to be very clueless about what I should be doing there. What activities should I take on to be fully functional in the role? So the first thing is create a place where people can interact with your company aside social media. So it can be a forum, it can be a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group. You want to have a place where you can just interact with your customers one-on-one. And then you can also go further and host maybe small events in that group or small events for those people. You said they're banking software companies, so I'm assuming, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is consumer or corporate, but what are the things that people need to know about money in your community that you can teach them, or that you can bring somebody else to come and teach them? That makes them more, that makes people love you more, because they're not just your customer now. You're providing some utility beyond come and transfer money on my app. What's the best way to talk? What's my take on the best way to talk about personal branding? I don't know. I don't like attention, so I'm very iffy about personal branding. I think this is one of the very few things I've had some of the courage to do. I'm sure you don't see me talking a lot in public. So my friend Lade Tawak has a course a checklist actually, and a short course that can help you take on personal branding for yourself. So you should maybe follow her on Twitter or just Google her name. You find something interesting, I guess. So I can't give you advice on that. How do I start my career as a digital marketer or communication personnel with 1 year of social media management under my belt? So your career has already started. So, I would say if you're a social media manager, what's the next thing in social that you need to do? I assume you maybe post stuff and you write captions and stuff, but what else is there? What else is happening outside there for you that you can level up your skill? Also start to think beyond social media channels and other digital media channels, because social is not the only digital channel. Says also, how do I network and market myself? I should talk to people. I mean, I talk to people all the time. I ask questions. Some of my friends are here. I ask my friends questions. You've done this before. How did you go about it? Can you help me do this? Who can help me do this? Also provide value. Somebody needs something or somebody needs help with something. Maybe you can get on a call with them and help them figure it out. Share something with them. But also pitch new companies. New companies are pretty much always hiring digital marketing people. Like always hiring digital marketing people. Every new company needs one in 2021, right? So reach out to new companies and offer your services to them. And that's one way I, started out before I I started getting else. So that's really helpful because then you also network, you also meet new people, right? So it solves two problems at once. Is documenting your work publicly important to my growth in the industry? I would say yes and no, because the truth is I haven't done a lot of documentation in public. If I'm being very honest, I haven't talked about my work a lot in public. But something that really helped me, and I was really lucky because I used to live near CC Hub, was going to CC Hub all the time. So I basically met most of the people that would build a large percentage of the companies in tech in Nigeria today when I was like 19, 20. So it really helps to get to communities. I think that is what has helped me the most because I'm not very big on people knowing who I am. Or, people I talked to, people who I was friends with from like 5, 6 years ago, and we still talk once in a while, and I'll recommend me for roles all of the time. So I would say that has been important to me. That has been way more important than just, doing the regular networking stuff. Right. So, okay, another question here says, how did I get started? So, okay, I don't think I've shared that story actually. So in 2015, no, not 2015. In 2009, I was in SS3 and I went and learned HTML and CSS by myself because I wanted to know how to build a blog. So I went and read HTML and CSS, right, by myself. And what has happened? What happened then? It was very early. I was like, what, 16? Or like, because I was trying to build that blog, I had to be, open. I had to open myself to learning all of these things. There were so many tools you could use. It was very overwhelming. You could use Tumblr, you could use WordPress, all kinds of tools you could use. So overwhelming. But I basically read a blog article, and this person said that, I think it was called Copy Blogger. And this person said, if you want to really be good at running a blog, you should learn HTML and CSS. So I went and learned it. So after I finished secondary school, I went to A-levels, and I now had a blog, right? And I would start writing about stuff, just all kinds of random stuff. I'm not going to share the link to you. Anybody that shares it, I will remove it from this group. I used to write about all kinds of random stuff, but basically a no filter blog. But I also used to write about music in Nigeria. In Nigeria at the time, there were maybe 2 music blogs. There was Jagoda and Not Just Okay. There were a lot of people writing about music, new music, whether the band or when they had a new song or whatever. So there are people who used to share stuff to me. Eventually, they would share me their audio files, musician reps and their PR agencies and whatnot. But that really helped me. Tell me, what can you please? That really helped me understand how to build an audience. Again, I had no specific goals, and I wasn't monetizing anything. But I found that if I wrote something that people were interested in, they would come and read. There was also time I started writing about technology stuff. So I write about apps I was using, or somebody launched a new phone, wonder like about the phone, why I thought the phone was silly. Write about new features that BBM had launched, all of that stuff. And what used to happen by the time it was like 2012, mobile phone companies actually send me phones to review for my blog. It was very interesting, very interesting. But basically, because I was just playing around with stuff, I just learned stuff. There was also my friends had a blog called Technestivity. My friends Farida and Duni, who are really doing great in their own sphere of life, And Farida and Duni basically want to talk about technology more, but also they really felt left out of the global conversation of technology because they were Nigerians, right? So Duni was in Nigeria at the time, Farida was in New York, but she felt like nobody was writing about what was happening in Nigeria. So I basically joined them and started writing about stuff that was happening on the ground here. And that was how I learned a lot about, growing a Twitter audience, email marketing, writing content, SEO. I think that's why I played with SEO somewhat, because I found that if you put certain things in the title of your post, more people will come from Google. If you remove this, people will not come. So I learned all of those things very early. So I was very lucky to be exposed in those times, thanks to my friends, Duni and Farida, my friends Vivian and Father, who absolutely exposed me more to all of that stuff. Very grateful for them, very great guys. So that's how I got started. And then, I basically went on to start talking to people. At some point, I had a small social media agency that I ran, which was basically social media marketing for startups. And what I would do, which I advise people a lot, is I would go read Tech Cabal. There was Tech Cabal and there was something called OTechBits at that time. So I would go read Tech Cabal and OTechBits, and I would make a list of all the startups. They were covering startup launches all the time. And I would email somebody at the startup or call the phone number on their websites. And I would say, oh, my name is this person. I saw your blog post on Tech Cabal. I feel like you will need a social media manager. I looked at your Twitter, it's not really doing so well. I looked at your Facebook, it's not doing so well. And I can help you fix that. That was the honest way that I got people to kind of know about me that time, right? So someone says, what's the most difficult challenge that I have encountered as a growth and marketing executive? I would say the first is testing out new channels that I don't know about. So maybe there's some new app. So maybe TikTok, for example. It can be very hard to use something that you're not even interested in using, because I really don't care for short videos. I use it sometimes, but I watch videos, but now I have to create stuff for it. So there's that learning curve of, so what do I need to get people to watch these videos, right? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? Which again, I think that everybody needs to, take advantage of. Sometimes just test a new platform out. So what do I need to know? What do I need to do? What are the things that make people consume content on this platform the most? What do I do? How do I learn analytics? This is the site of people watch videos. How do I get them from watching those videos to come to my site? Because now I can't post links, right? Everywhere else I can post links, but here I can't post links. How do I get people to bring all of that stuff from creating an audience? So those are things that, I like to learn over time on new platforms. There was one thing at Dev Center we had this community platform before we even moved to Slack, and I had to watch videos on how to use that platform. It was a terrible experience. People didn't want to use it. But as soon as we moved to Slack, the thing just popped up. But we had already become really good at using Slack, right? We use it internally as well for work. So those are the kind of things that I think are really hard. The second will be convincing stakeholders that I know what I'm doing, because product leaders and CEOs are always in a hurry to grow numbers. So I would say convincing them that the thing I'm doing is going to turn out well in the future is very difficult, right? Because everybody wants to grow 10,000 numbers in a short time, right? But if I'm doing 500 now, how do I convince people that I'm going to get to 10,000 in 3 months or in 6 months or in 1 year, right? So those are the things that I say are constantly difficult for me. So my take on personal rebranding, yes, please Google Adita Wak and buy her ebook and take her short, a free course. How do I switch to growth marketing and product management? I'm not sure why you want to do this though, but if you want to, you already work in an organization that has a product, right? I would say spend more time with the growth and marketing team, but also volunteer to help them do stuff. So maybe if they were thinking about writing 20 blog titles, what's their way of coming up with those topics, and how can you help them come up with more topics than they need to, right? Because by doing that, you're not just aligning with them, they're also learning, things from them. And then you might get to a point where you need to volunteer your services, maybe within the organization or outside the organization. That can really help you, make that switch faster than it typically would take. So we are 5:18. We still have a few minutes. The first step to growing a stronger online community. So talk to the people in your community. I feel like, I don't know what you mean by stronger. If you think that the activity in your community is low, I would say talk to people in that community and, ask them, why are you not interacting? We did this at Bundle last year. Why are you not interacting with the community? What can we do to make you interact more? Maybe we're posting messages at the wrong time. Or maybe we're just even boring, right? So another question is, how can you help these people in your community grow? So in terms of their lives, right? One of the things that the savings people have done really, really well is help people grow financially and the way they think about money. I think companies like Flutterwave and Paystack have also helped people grow their businesses very well in terms of how do you build a digital presence? How do you grow your digital presence? How do you make it easy for people to buy your stuff online? How do you take better photos? So basically, how to just make the life of your community, of your audience better in line with your goals and what your product does for them, right? The path to being very good in growth marketing is confusing and scattered. The semblance of a plan to become a professional growth marketing for someone starting from level one. So like I said earlier, just take responsibility for stuff. Like it's scary, but you have to take responsibility for stuff that you don't know how to do. But there's a ton of stuff to watch on YouTube, tons of free PDFs all over the internet, and very long articles that can help you, think better about how to grow stuff. But I've also don't be afraid to take on challenges. So, for example, when I worked at Bitcoins, Bitcoin searches were growing in Nigeria that year in 2017, and most of the sites that were ranking page one were foreign sites. So they were Paxful, Luno, Coinbase. I don't know. I think Binance was there. All these very big sites with like massive marketing budgets and massive marketing teams. But I wasn't too afraid to take on that job and do the SEO so well that it became the page, the ranking got to page one, right? So don't be afraid to do things that you think you don't know about. I find that when you read about stuff, you can just read stuff. I mean, you can just read 10 ways you can just Google ways to improve SEO and implement every single thing that is in that article, right? Depending on your business. How do you get your first 1,000 users without a Philip-based product? This is why you should read the Lean Startup and Traction. They talk about how to get your first 1,000 customers. What I tend to think of where my audience is the most, to be honest. I do a lot of manual work. So where are they? What do they need? Some very long-term stuff, like blog posts are very long-term, depending on your audience. But webinars can push the numbers very fast. So at Future Africa, something that has pushed out, we now have, I think, 10,000 plus people in our audience. But what has pushed our numbers the most is webinars and partnerships. So we host webinars in partnerships with other people in our industry. And we see that because they share it, a lot of people want to register and want to hear what they have to say, right? So those things really help you build a community. But in terms of users, to be honest, in the first very early days, you want to talk to a lot of people one-on-one. I'm not even going to lie. Like you want to have all these automated sign-up stuff, but you want to like individually message people and say, oh, hi, do you want to use this product? And get them to sign up. But what you want to also do very early stages, how do they talk about that thing very fast? Like I use maybe a budgeting app. In the process I sign up, how do you make sure I talk about it? So that I'm not just one user. I'm bringing in 3 users. I'm bringing in 5 users. I'm bringing in 10 of my friends. That really helps you grow from 0 to 1,000 very fast. Just people coming in and then people just talking to their friends about it. So how do you ensure those things happen? Where do I find brilliant product marketers to vibe with? I think that last year is the first time when I started having a lot of product marketing friends. I used to have like just 3 people I knew that were marketers. But I honestly just ask people questions and I reach out to them. I think 2019, 2020, I really spent a lot of time on LinkedIn, reaching out to people. Some of them I registered for this event and just letting them know that I existed and sending them a link to my blog. And some of those people, I went to their offices to help them figure out stuff or talk to their team members to convince their team members to try out stuff. So it really just talking to people and taking advantage and providing value, right? Okay, Kaide, you can drop your question here. Yeah, it's totally fine. I'll take it later. So that's why I now have a ton of, marketing friends. Just go talk to them, share my blog with them. I had a blog, so I share my blog with them, answer their questions they had. Someone says, can I divert from economics to marketing? Yes, you should absolutely do that. You're probably very good with numbers, so absolutely do that. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that. Where can I intern as a newbie to digital marketing? So back to the thing I said, find very small companies that are just starting out, and maybe they have one person on their marketing team. Talk to the CEO and say, "Oh, I would like to intern for you." You know, they might not be able to pay a lot of money. That's true, but they will take advantage of the fact that somebody approached them and wanted to genuinely, work for them. Professional growth marketing courses. I had to say Excel has a good course. There's also something called Reforge. Reforge has a growth program, an advanced growth program. They're very, Reforge is very picky. But something that's also really good is Udacity's nano degree, digital nano degree. It's very interesting because they teach you how to optimize for conversions on different platforms. Best place source for growth roles. Again, just read tech blogs. Like if you read about a startup, they probably don't have a head of growth in their very early stages, or they have a head of growth and there's just one team member. So read tech blogs, talk to startup founders, engage in founder communities. Help people. Maybe you use an app, something doesn't go well, give somebody their feedback, and then you can take conversation up from there. How do you create thought leadership in a competitive space? So you leverage other people's audiences. Depending on how fast you want to do it, you have to leverage other people's audiences. There's probably people in your industry who have 20,000 followers, right, on Twitter, and maybe you have 200. How do you partner with them in a way that you're both beneficial to each other? Then you also have to be patient, because if you're trying to build thought leadership, if you're trying to build a brand, it does take some time to become known for a particular thing. So you have to be very patient with that process. But basically use other people's audiences, but also create a lot of useful content, right, that people can read and easily digest. And the second question is how do you maximize organic channels through marketing? Man, everything is shareables. The tweet needs to be shareable, archive. The Instagram post needs to be shareable, something that's fun. Or maybe those bingo things people do on Instagram now. These are generated content when people use your product or when people even interact with your brand. Answering questions people have publicly, like do a thread of all the questions people have about your product or something. Those are ways you can take advantage of organic channels to grow. But I would say also spend money. There's audiences that are just basically locked behind walls. If you don't spend, you will never see, right? Man, the questions here are tough questions, but we'll take them. Okay, so I'm currently a media buyer. How do I transition into growth marketing, and how can I get remote intern roles? I would say if you're trying to work in Africa or with Nigerian companies, a lot of companies are going fully remote. A ton of companies are or hybrid remote. So it's up to you to again reach out to people and offer them that, oh, look, I'm trying to learn more about growth. I see you have a growth team, but I can do media buying for you. So, how do I work as a media buyer in your company, or intern as a media buyer, or in a remote role while learning other stuff from your team members, right? But one of the most important things, if you've been doing media buying in like an agency space or a large brand like Coke or Pepsi, you now need to focus more on optimizing for certain conversion events. So before you were used to numbers, you were used to having to spend $2,000 or $10,000 or $200,000 to make sure that 20 million people see something. You can't optimize for visibility anymore. Now it's optimized for conversions and certain events. So your mindset needs to kind of change a bit to, I no longer have access to these big budgets, but with these small budgets, what can I do more efficiently? I want to know how to use advertising like Facebook and Twitter. Facebook has a course called the Facebook Blueprint course that is basically all about using Facebook to do many different things. Engagement, ads, Instagram, social media posts, Facebook shopping, Facebook marketplace, all of those tools. They have a massive library of videos there. You should go and watch them and take the certification on exams. Man, what was my learning process and can I map it out? So my learning process, again, is just learning how to do the next thing, right? So now I'm responsible for growing an audience of people who want to invest in venture capital. So all I read about is venture capital night and day. And I like to read about people who have built syndicates, who are very popular and have built like syndicated or crowdfunding kind of businesses and see how they were able to grow those businesses. But if you're doing something that nobody has done before, I would say write a list of the skills you need to learn and take them one after the other. Right. What do you advise a person that wants to switch to marketing and doesn't have the funds to take a course? Take free courses, HubSpot, Facebook Blueprints, Google Digital Skills. All of those platforms have a ton of free courses that you can take. So you can do that for free. Can I merge content marketing and growth marketing together? Yes, you can. So basically what you now need to think about is, I'm creating content, right? How does my content turn into something for the business in terms of new users or in terms of users coming back, like retaining users or users who are spending more money? So what content things can I directly tie? What metrics can I directly tie and say, okay, I published 2 blog posts last week. How do I make sure that it brings me 20 new customers? That kind of ways you can think about like growth marketing if you're coming from a content marketing background. Resources to share to this session. Yes. There's a link. Let me share the screen again. I can't find it now. There's a link I'm going to share to everyone when I'm done with this. I'll send an email to everybody. So you can see all the things that I read and all the people that I learn from. That's really helpful. Sorry, I'm trying to read the questions that I hear now. I can't find it anymore. Why is it Zoom like this? Okay, found it. So, how do you have growth for a mediocre product? Don't sell a mediocre product. There's no point. Don't sell. The product is not exciting. Don't sell. Don't agree to sell a product that you don't believe in. There's really no point. There's no point. Because if you're not excited about it, how do you get other people to be excited about it, right? So Kyle says, what would I advise on building your content on other platforms like Medium until you can build on a proper CMS? So if you're doing this personally, it's absolutely fine. My blog is on Medium and it shows up in search all the time. It used to be like number 3 for digital marketing term in Nigeria. So it's really good because the blog Medium has, an audience already existing, so you can take advantage of that network. But it's really bad if you want to do proper SEO stuff because there's a lot you can change. So I would say just use WordPress. I mean, WordPress is very easy to use even on your own domain, and you can do a lot of SEO stuff in WordPress. There are many tools, so use WordPress. If you need to grow SEO for your business, just use WordPress. This is the absolute best tool out there. Okay, so growth marketer seems close to product manager, growth manager, social media manager, and a brand manager. How do you distinguish responsibilities within a product team? So it really depends. So in my company now, I'm responsible for growth, but there's also a group of people responsible for writing content. Their job is just to give me content every week. My job is not to figure out how to distribute it to different audiences, but they don't take advantage of that. Product managers do completely different things. Again, they're more focused with the everyday, I would say, product development or engineering work that needs to be done within the organization. So say we want to build one new wallet feature. Maybe the idea came from the growth manager, right? But then the product manager is the one doing all the stand-ups, talking to the engineers, making sure they're using the right tools, maybe working with the QA team to do testing. As a growth manager, I've never had to do that, and I hope that I don't have to. But basically, there's a product manager. I basically let them know what I need, and they take it from there. I'm able to do some things like write a user story and trust that they will prioritize and implement that with the engineering team. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there are any more questions. I can't find any questions. So it's 5:33. Someone asked me, who are the biggest growth marketers in Nigeria? Man, there's a ton of people doing a lot of great stuff. I would say, think about companies that you admire or companies that you really are doing very well and see who's the chief marketing officer there, or who's the head of growth, or who's the sales lead. Those are ways that you can know who's really doing what. Because if the company is doing well, then the marketing people are definitely doing a good job. Yeah. I think somebody's microphone. Can you please turn off your microphone? Thank you. So in the absence of any more questions, I would like to close this session. I will send you a recording to this soon, but also want to do something interesting and maybe create a PDF that is going to be like a growth checklist for people, just for you to see what it's like and what you should do in the very early stages of the startup or in the very early stages of your career. It can really help you know what to learn and know what to implement in your day-to-day work activities. Yes, but actually, the community for growth marketers, I would also send that in the email. It's actually a community that somebody from Steer started a few months ago, and we'll be learning so much awesome stuff from each other. So I will send that to you. So now I'm owing you a list of stuff to read, a link to this video, as well as community for growth marketers, right? Okay, awesome. So have a good weekend, everyone. You can send me feedback, email, Twitter, and hope that you have a wonderful weekend. All right, cheers and bye.